Hi, I'm Judith Leblein, and welcome to Conversations. You know, some time back, PBS put together a little show. I don't think they had any idea what that show was going to do to an antique industry. That's right, the PBS Roadshow, Antiques Roadshow. And what has that done? It has influenced a whole new generation into antiques, buying and selling, and each one of us trying to find that treasure in the attic or that treasure in the basement. And it has also caused this industry on eBay, where so many people are buying and selling antiques. To try to help to understand a little bit about the antique market is Joe Bodnar. Joe Bodnar is the owner and the auctioneer at Bodnar's Auctions in Somerset, New Jersey. Joe, welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Boy, everything old is new again.
Yes, it is.
Suddenly, people's junk is looked as a potential treasure.
Yeah.
Do you give PBS credit for that with the Antique Roadshow?
Yes, I give them absolutely. They have some credit towards it, and they've definitely generated a lot of interest in the antique business and in the auction business. And everyone's now jumping, see what's in their attic and what's in their basement, and definitely it's created a lot of interest.
You know, tag sales or garage sales have been popular for many, many years now. But it used to be you could get a bargain.
Yep.
Now, everybody that has a tag sale thinks that they have precious antiques.
Yep.
And it's really hard to kind of get through it if you are interested in becoming a collector of whether it's big pieces, small pieces. So I'm going to ask you to help us understand this world of antiques, if you would.
Okay.
I love to attend auctions, partly because I'm an amateur collector. And so you have a lot of people like me at your auctions.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say I see 50% that come to my auction as general public and retail, and the other 50% are dealers. So it's a wide mix that comes to the auction.
And you could see a difference. And it took a while for me to understand the culture, the behavior. I mean, it's almost like having to wear tennis whites. You need to understand an auction. So first tell us, when you put on an auction and you have items to sell, where do you get those items?
I would say 80 to 90% of what's there is actually coming from local estates, whether it be in Middlesex County or throughout the whole state, and we also go out of state. And another 20% from local antique dealers that give me stuff on consignment for the auctions. Okay.
So now when you say estates, Granny or Grandpa has gone on to their reward and left a house filled with perhaps collectibles, perhaps junk, and they call someone like yourself?
Yes, that's true. And also people that are moving. You know, I get a lot of phone calls where they're relocating to Florida or this and that, and they might only have 5, 10, 15, 20 items, but we also handle that as well, besides big estates where there might be 300 or 400 items in that particular estate.
And then I'm sure that banks as well, or lawyers who hold the rights to an estate also are customers
That's
of yours.
correct, yeah. We have attorneys that contact us as well.
So at any given day, I could find a box lot of assorted junk items from someone's kitchen drawer.
Yep, this is
or
true.
I can buy a very expensive piece of art.
No, absolutely. I mean, we've sold things for $5 and $10, $15. Our average lot is actually probably about $100 per item. And we've sold things recently, $8,500, $9,500, and we actually sold a bowling game about 2 years ago. That was a German papier-mâché bowling game for $18,500.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And that was found in somebody's basement in their bar, actually, and it was just a really nice turn-of-the-century German bowling game that I actually figured for about $2,000 to $3,000, and we had about 15 phone calls prior to the auction, and brought $18,500. It was pretty exciting.
Well, word gets around in your little incestuous community of antique dealers. Boy, they hear that something's on sale, and you can see that there's a whole wave of people that come in to look at it.
Absolutely. I mean, we get people from the entire United States. I mean, we get people from South Carolina, Texas, people call us from California, etc., that they see in the trade publications that we advertise in, as well as the web, and we get participation from everywhere.
I'm glad you mentioned the web, because now that information can get out so quickly.
Yes, it can.
And with digital photography, people also call in bids or mail in bids?
Yes, absolutely. And we do a lot of photographs, and thank God for a digital camera. It saved me tons of money in developing.
And time.
And time, absolutely. But I do all the website design myself for my auction. And we put anywhere between 50 to 75 photographs up per auction. And we get anywhere between 1,000 to 2,000 hits per auction that actually look and see what we have for sale. And we do get participation from all over the United States due to that website.
Okay, so let's say I've amassed a large collection. You're going to see some pieces from my angel collection. And maybe one day I might want to sell that and go live on an island somewhere. And I contact you, Joe. What's the next step?
And normally what people do is they contact me. I would go to their home, set up an appointment, go to their house, take a look exactly what they have, give them some estimates on some key pieces. Usually I don't give estimates on every single piece because that would be very time consuming. But key pieces, I tell them, listen, I think this is 500 to 700 or this is 300 to 400, etc. And then give them a pretty much summary of the entire contents. Like I think the whole contents will bring 7,000 to 10,000, etc. If people choose to use us, we would then come back, inventory everything we take, pack it right there at the house, do photographs right there at the house, and then it would go into my next given sale.
And how do you pay the rent?
How do I pay the rent? Commission. I mean, we actually get commission, and our commission varies depending upon how much work's involved and how much money's involved. Obviously, if you have one piece that's going to bring $1,500 to $10,000, it's going to be a less commission if I have to sell 300 items that are all $50, $60, $70 items.
So as a consumer, I should first look for an auctioneer with what credentials?
Well, myself, I'm a member of New Jersey State Society of Auctioneers, which is a governing body of local auctioneers throughout the state of New Jersey, as well as a member of the National Auctioneers Association, which goes national. And also I'm a member of Coldwell Banker's Concierge Service, which they do a real hard check on you to make sure that you're top-notch before you can become a part of their concierge service. So
check with those organizations, check with the Better Business Bureau, make sure this is a legitimate operation.
Absolutely.
Is the first thing.
Absolutely.
Now, Joe, I have gotten myself in some trouble at auctions.
Okay.
You may have even yelled at me in the past. I'm a talker. Talk for a living. I'm Italian. I talk with my hands. And I once bought a 1960 Buick Skylark without knowing it at an auction because I was, telling a story in the back of the room, and the auctioneer thought and said, "Hey, Leblein, is your hand up or isn't it?"
Right.
Tell me some of the etiquette, because it is so much fun to go to an auction.
No, it's definitely a lot of fun. However, there are guidelines that you should follow, especially because to the people like myself, when I'm auctioneering up there, it is a business and it is a job to get done. And I mean, we sell 3 items a minute to 4 items a minute. So
3 items a minute.
No, that's really fast. But we do sell 3 to 4 items a minute. Some of the etiquette is that, no, you wouldn't want to raise your hand. You wouldn't want to, a lot of people, they like say, they're waving to their friends. They're going, "Hey, over here, I'm sitting over here, and I'll catch it as a bid like that real fast." But no, you would want to stay calm and try to keep the noise down, etc., because it can get overwhelming.
How about strategy for bidding? Should you pull back? Should you watch? Should you listen? Because when I first started going, I was very anxious. I wanted to be the first, and then I didn't want somebody to get ahead. Give us some clues about how to get your best deal.
Well, certain people, and I've seen work is right at the high bid. If you know you want it, everyone waits till it goes down to $5, and then everybody raises their hand, and it goes bidding up, and it goes right up to 300 real quick.
The psychology is amazing. Here is this beautiful vase. Let's start at 300. No one bids, but at 5 they bid, and you get it up to 600.
That's correct. That does happen. Some people like to psych other people out, and it's say the first bid's 500, and the person will go 500. And everyone else goes, "Whoa, I was waiting for it to go for a lot cheaper," and they all psych out, and boom, it sells to that person for $500. Sometimes you might want to stand in the back and see who else is bidding, and then get in at the end. And then a lot of times, what I find is a lot of people are trying to get in, but it's usually only between 2 people. Once a person drops out, then I'll take the next bidder, and they get frustrated, like, I was going to be in, but once that other person drops out, we'll catch you in. I don't know what's the best way,
Depends on your comfort level.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, if you start at $10 and keep on bidding, you might get caught into it and pay $200, $300 more than you really intended to.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. It's emotion.
Yes.
And doesn't emotion also drive the prices? I have seen a very common item go sky high because somebody, who remains nameless, really wanted it.
Yes. And that does happen. I mean, for instance, besides the antiques and collectibles in our auction, we also sell reproductions. And certain reproductions, we have the same ones every single month. That same piece will bring one month $10, the next month $100, the next month $60. It's very fluctuable. And people, they get into a bidding frenzy, and they got to have it no matter what. And that is one of the beautiful things about an auction. It definitely creates that sense that they have to have it right then.
So the difference between having your own tag sale or yard sale, when granny meets her maker, you may actually be able to get more from an auctioneer who knows their business, knows how to drive the price, knows how to drive the crowd.
Absolutely. I mean, you're definitely putting on a performance, and that's what it is, and you're creating the excitement. And definitely a live auction, you're moving so fast that you got a split second to make that decision. Am I going to buy it or not? And it definitely creates more interest and more money, I would say, dollar for dollar.
Well, one of the reasons I got so hooked on auctions is I think I've discovered something about myself, Joe. I think I'm a voyeur.
Okay.
Because I love to look into other people's lives. I probably would be a window peeper if you didn't get arrested for it.
Right.
So you go to an auction, and there are moments I could be brought to tears. You can auction off a woman's wedding dress.
Yes.
And there'll be a gorgeous wedding gown from the 1920s that belonged to some woman, and I immediately missed up because, you know, I imagine someone wearing it, or I think, geez, this woman didn't have anyone to leave her wedding gown to.
Right.
And I just love the story. So even if you're not into antiques, boy, you get the human side of people's belongings.
No, absolutely. I mean, everything from love letters to photographs, and just for instance,
war medals.
War medals. We sell a lot of war medals, and there's money involved with all that stuff. Even photographs. I mean, we just had a book and paper auction where we had tons of photographs in the last auction, and you know, we say we're selling the instant relative basically, but they sell, and that kind of stuff does sell.
Now, before the auction begins, is really the time you need to do your shopping.
That's correct.
Right? There's a preview?
That's correct.
Explain what happens.
Yeah, at the preview, we have a preview the day before and also the day of the auction, and also while the sale's going on. You can actually come physically touch everything, examine everything, look at everything, see exactly what it is. You can make yourself notes. Usually people put on, make a note of how much they want to pay. Sometimes they'll go over that, but you can do your research at that time.
It's a good way to shop.
Absolutely.
You could go home, get on the internet, find out if it's a popular painter, perhaps.
Exactly, and people ask me questions during the preview as well, and we'll tell you if it's an antique or a reproduction or this and that, because sometimes the sale moves so fast, it gets hard to describe every single piece as we're selling it.
Now, Joe, there's some language that you use that I have also almost fell victim to. By the piece, for the pair, for the lot. Just give us a quickie on a couple. And once I bought 4 chairs, I thought I was buying 1.
Yeah. Times the money would be 2 times the money or 5 times. Yeah, times the money. In other words, usually sometimes chairs are sold times the money. So say if there's 6 chairs and they're being sold 6 times the money, whatever the high bid, it's going to be times 6 times whatever that high bid was. So if it was $50, it'd be 6 times 50. Choice. Choice is another one. Bidder takes choice, and then the high bidder would say is $10. They can come and pick out 1 for 10, 2 for 20, 3 for 30.
They get first dibs, as we said in the playground.
Exactly.
First dibs.
They get first dibs of whatever.
Why don't you just say first dibs?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Maybe I'll start doing that, because we just sold the big Stangl collection at the sale, all choice, and there was a lot of first-time auction people going, and they were like, "What's choice? What's choice?" I had to actually tell them.
How about box lot? What does that mean?
Yeah, box lot basically is what we do is we group up about 15 to 20 particular items that are either chipped or broken, or they could be good stuff as well. If we sold them separately, they would probably be $3 to $5 a piece, but we group it up into a lot, and the whole lot brings, say, $50, $60.
You know, that's where I get frustrated, because I'll find a little angel in a box lot. Now, if I buy that whole box, I get everything in the box plus the angel.
That's correct.
And maybe have to spend $50 or $75.
Right.
But a dealer now gets that box lot, and they could go back to their store and sell some of those pieces.
No, that's true. Well, at our auction, what you can actually do, in the box lot section, if you wanted to pull something out of a box lot, it's $10 to go, which is actually higher than what the box lot would sell for, because the box lot's $5 to go. But if you ever wanted to pull something out of one of our box lots, you can definitely do that.
Oh, see, I learned something today.
There you go.
If you're just joining us, with me today is Joe Bodnar from Bodnar's Auctions, and we're talking about antiques, everything antique. And I'm going to take advantage of having you here and have you take a look at a couple of items for me, Joe. But before we go there, talk to me about eBay. What, has that helped or hurt the antique
No,
business?
Absolutely, it has helped it. And it sounds like it wouldn't. It's hurt the antique and auction business in certain aspects where I used to get a lot of phone calls in the past that had 1 or 2 items or 5 items for sale. Now, strictly, I deal with more people who have 50 items or 100 items, etc. eBay has created another whole market of merchandise selling for decent money at my auction. It's created the prices to jump up on certain things because people, I would say, maybe 40% of the people that do come to my auction buy and resell on eBay.
You're turning them around.
Yeah, and selling it on eBay. And just like any
store without walls or ceilings.
Exactly. Just like anything else, some things will do better on eBay than at my auction, and there's certain things that will do better at my auction than on eBay, and there's certain things that might do better in an auction in New York versus my sale or Pennsylvania, etc. It's just a matter of really studying the business to find where certain things sell for better money. Now, on eBay, collectibles, newer collectibles, they do relatively well on there. Such things as toys, Hot Wheel toys from the 60s and the 70s. I just actually sold a couple Hot Wheels on eBay. One brought $550 for a 1960s little Hot Wheel car.
You know, we lived in a small apartment in a housing project in Newark, and I wish we had storage. We had no storage, so we played with things and they got thrown away or passed on to another kid.
Right.
And I think about my uncle worked for Remco. Every Remco toy I had that now on eBay, I could be
especially
making
with
so
the
much.
box. I mean,
Oh,
the boxes.
God.
I mean, sometimes the boxes will sell for more money
No
than the actual.
boxes survived in my family, Joe. 4 kids, no box ever made it.
Right.
But let's take a look. Now, you have what you call a small in the industry, one of the smalls, and this small had a nice price tag. Why don't you show us this and tell us a little bit? I love the story.
Yeah, sure. What I brought with me today, this is a Netski that was made in Japan right around the early 1800s.
It's a bunch of frogs.
It's a bunch of frogs. It's all carved ivory. It has a hole in the center. The hole in the center, and it has also a signature on there as well.
Now, I would find that in a drawer somewhere and give it a kid at a tag sale. Here's a little frog, never knowing. What's its value?
Something like this is anywhere between $1,000 to $1,400. Only because a lot of it has to do with its age, and a lot of it has to do.
How do you know it's good? Besides that marking, is there something special about it?
Yeah, on the eyes, if you take a close look at the eyes, they all have inlay work on them.
Oh.
So if you actually look at them, they'll actually glitter a little bit on the eyes, and they do make reproductions of these, and they were probably reproduced in the early 1900s as well as today. They still reproduce them.
Where'd you get that frog?
This came from a particular frog collection from Edison, New Jersey. I sold this collection for about 3 years, and I always like to purchase one item.
3 years?
Yeah, 3 years to sell his collection. He had probably about 150, 200,000 frogs in his house. And when I first came to his house, you couldn't even move. You couldn't even walk in his house. I mean, it was
That's a collection out of control.
Oh, it was definitely a collection out of control. And we would take anywhere between 100 to 200 items per auction from his house. And boy, it took a long time to sell.
Yeah.
But we got through it, and he did very well. Certain things did very well, and some things were iffy. I mean, but he had things that were worth thousands and thousands of dollars, and he had things that were worth $5 and $10. So.
But then again, with an experienced person like yourself, or the cadre of people you have that you can refer to, you're guaranteed in a collection like that to do better than if you open up your doors and say, come on in and purchase. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of pieces that I bought for my Angel collection, Joe, at auctions. Now, don't you feel bad if you tell me that these things are not of any value. I'm going to put a couple of them up.
Okay.
The reason being is I buy things because I love them.
Okay.
Not because I hope to sell them in the future. But I buy them because I like to be surrounded by angels.
Okay.
I get them, and I like them to be old, I think.
Right.
And I've bought these at auction, and I'm wondering if you wouldn't mind telling me what I might have.
Sure. What you have here, this was probably either made in Italy or Germany, one or the other. There is no markings that are on the bottom. I took a look earlier, but there's no markings.
Now that's
marks.
a vase, isn't it?
Yes,
It's just got a tiny little hole in it.
Got a tiny little hole. It's a bud vase in the shape of a heart. Probably took one single rose in there, you know, as a little loving porcelain figurine.
How can you tell perhaps the age? Are we talking 40s? Are we talking 60s? Can you tell age?
Judging without marks, sometimes it's a little bit harder to judge age, but there are some wear marks that are on the bottom where you can see that it was actually has been around for a while. A majority of these types of of pieces such as this were probably done around turn of the century to the 1930s or 40s, somewhere in that time
That's what I was
frame.
hoping for, maybe a 40s piece.
Right. And what's nice about this, you normally find a lot of the flowers here busted or broken,
isn't
this
that
and that.
great?
And actually, this is in relatively decent condition.
I worry at auctions when no one but me wants the piece, because then I think I have sucker, just put across my head.
Right.
But mostly for me, it's been emotional for these little angels. How about this little couple here?
Yeah, these pair, these are real nice. These are made by the Bohm Company, or the Beam Company rather, which I believe were.
They're in Jersey.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe they're in New Jersey.
To me, they looked like someone's dirty Christmas decorations, but
Right.
I was bidding on them, only to find out that across the room, a friend of mine was bidding on them, and then when he won, he brought them over and gave them to me as a gift.
Right.
So we were bidding against each other.
That happens. I've seen
We
that
didn't
happen.
even know it because we couldn't see each other, and he
Right.
gave them to me as a gift.
Right.
But I understand these are fine porcelain.
No, they're definitely fine porcelain. They are sought after. They're collectibles. And I would.
So $25 was a buy?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would venture to say that in the right auction, they'd bring $200 to $300 a piece. So that's what I would say.
Come to mama.
There you
now,
go.
how about these over here? These are 4 little gals here, and I think they hold tiny candles.
Yeah,
Right now, they hold court in my guest room.
They are marked Denmark on the bottom, and it doesn't say made in Denmark or anything
so
of that
cute,
nature.
aren't
So
they cute?
if it doesn't say made in, that would actually put it prior to 1918.
Oh, wait, say that again.
If it doesn't say made in, if it just has the company on there, then it would be prior to 1918. In the teens there was a law put that anything that was imported or exported had to put made in China, made in Denmark, etc. So if it doesn't say made in, that's how you can date something of that nature. They are little candlesticks. They almost look like quimper, but they're not quimper. A quimper would definitely be more highly desirable. However, I don't think they're a whole lot of money. I would venture to say that they're probably $30 to $50 for the set. That's what I would say.
The fact that they are still in one piece to me is amazing,
No.
especially people that have children. That's so remarkable to me. So I did okay.
No, you did
then.
okay.
I did all right. Now, Joe, this is a piece that our director here, Cindy, has brought in, and this is a very emotional piece for Cindy. And this is a piece of teak wood that her grandfather made her this charming box. He was a carpenter in the Navy. He was at Pearl Harbor. And this piece of teak, she is told from her grandfather, came from the Oklahoma, which was sunk in 1941.
Wow.
And was brought up, and this wood came from the captain's quarters.
Right.
A box in the shape of a heart was given to her granny,
Right.
and this box was given to her. Now, how does one authenticate something? Now, if you or I saw this at a tag sale or garage sale, or the other day I saw someone with a sign that said junk, how do you place a value on something,
Yeah.
or how does someone find some history?
Something like this probably has more sentimental value versus money value. Number one, it would be hard to authenticate that story. I mean, whether you have a photograph of the actual transaction of the wood being donated to him, or a movie or something of that nature, it gets very difficult to authenticate certain things. Even though it's a great story, even sometimes you'll see on the road show, they have stories, and sometimes those stories don't even match up with
history.
With history, exactly.
So
However, this particular box, I would say, is from that time frame, and but it's hard to put to authenticate that it actually came from that particular ship.
So what she would need to do is do some more research, which the internet is so great for.
Yes, it is.
You know, just the marking on the bottom of this angel will help me find on Google search so much information. It's so great compared to having to go to the old encyclopedia,
Yeah, no, this
like
is
when we
true.
were kids.
Yeah.
So maybe with more research, she may find a picture
That's-
of the raised Oklahoma, and perhaps someone taking teak wood
No,
off
absolutely.
or whatever. But let's say it wasn't this piece, but it was a signed baseball or something. What do you look for to make sure it's the real deal?
Yeah, there's different certificates. When it comes to signatures, a lot of times you'll get a certificate of authenticity that comes with the particular baseball, etc. There would be experts that that experts just in signatures that could authenticate a particular baseball.
But be careful of the yard sale or the flea market approach with a signed, a signed Babe Ruth is not going to appear in a garage sale.
Oh, it could, but anything is possible. In this business, I can't. Sometimes you'd be amazed what you can find and where you can find it. However, 9 times out of 10, you would think that no, it's not true.
Now, you brought a painting for us to see, Joe, and will this appear in your upcoming auction?
Yeah, this will be in the upcoming auction on June 10th.
And tell us something about this.
Yeah, now this came out of an estate in Ramsey, New Jersey. It is an oil-on-board impressionist done by Frederick J. Boston, who was around from 1855 to 1932, an American artist. I had a similar painting, or a smaller painting, done by him back in December, and that brought $1,000.
Wow.
And this particular painting is about 5 times the size as that, but he did a lot of winter scenes, etc. And this painting at auction should bring somewhere between $2,000 to $3,000 is what our pre-auction estimate is.
Looks like what you would find in most grannies' houses.
Yes, no, this is absolutely true, and believe me, we deal every auction with almost 150, 200 pieces of artwork, and out of all that artwork every month, this is probably only the third piece I found in the past year that has a very decent amount of money value to it. Most of them are $50, $60, $70, $100 a piece.
Or just emotional.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you see, every time I see an angel of this kind of look, my younger sister hates my angel collection. So the more ornate, I now buy them just to bother my sister.
Right.
She's really afraid that someday they're all going to come alive and fly around the house or something. But so sometimes there's just reasons people buy them. It has nothing to do with value.
This is true. This is very true.
And you've seen that. So how's a young guy like you wind up in an old man's game?
Well, when I was 17, I started working for an auction house, and it just sucked me right in. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. What I originally did was just carry furniture off the truck, on the truck, into the auction house, and then like Vanna White hold the merchandise up and bring it to the person.
But what was it that made you? Is it the stories? Is it the history?
I think the history,
excitement of the sale.
The excitement of the sale definitely draws you in, and the fact that you could sometimes, compared to retail prices, you can go to an auction, spend a lot of money, and walk with a lot of stuff, versus if you went to a retail store and bought this stuff. So there's definitely bargains to be made, the excitement, the find. My favorite part, I love the whole aspect of the business, but one of my favorite parts is going to people's homes, rooting through the attic in the basement, digging through and find, wow, look at this.
Do you keep a poker face?
Yeah, no, well,
or do you hear from the attic, yoo-hoo?
No, you'll hear me go yoo-hoo, I mean, a couple of times. I mean, there was recently just one estate in Union, New Jersey that the last piece we found in the house in the basement was a vase about this tall, and they were using to put nails in it. It was in the workbench. And when I found it, I said, "This is good." I told him, I said, "Listen, I think this is really good. I'm not sure how good." And I figured it for a couple $1,000. When I got to the auction, I brought $8,500.
Well, yoo-hoo!
Yeah.
Now, Joe, if someone would like to use your services or get your advice, or perhaps come to one of your auctions, how do they do it?
Yeah, they would either I'm in the yellow pages under auctioneers, or they would go to my website, which is probably their best bet, which is bodnarsauction.com.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Joe. And as we leave, will you do a little bit of your sing-song for me? Can I convince you to
absolutely,
do that?
Yeah.
Sell something.
Start me at $100 and go. 100, 100, 75, $50, get me going. 50, now 25 and 35 and 45 and 55, 65, 75, 75, 85, 85, 95, 105.
I love it, Joe Bodnar. Thank you so much. Well, it just goes to prove that everything old is new again, and it's great to have a good conversation. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.